Is it the gateway or maybe more? Restless on your mind. There's a mystery machine wrapping up my every dream. Now there's tinfoil everywhere. I don't know who is who or care. overheard a cobra landing near the town. Thought it was an apex, but nobody was around. So I got back to my duties, then I walked into the lab. Thought I saw the Reaper leaping madly in the black. If this is my time, then I'm ready. Is this the day that I die? I saw a man crawling on the floor, peering through the windows with a scanner, maybe more. So I checked back on my data and headed to the hab. Had a drink, stood by the table, and felt a gun stuck in my back. If this is my time, then I'm ready. Was it Vasquez from the other settlement? Just swiped me once on Tinder, didn't return her calls. I was busy refining stuff, didn't think it would matter at all. But I know she had a temper, credits for a gun. Know they murder hobos now, leaving around and having their fun. Come on. Down falls the curtain. Here comes the curtain.
This July, Special Effect are inviting you, Commander, to complete 10k your way.
You choose the method to make it to 10k. Like this Commander taking 10,000 pictures of their asp in front of things.
This Commander has flown 10k into the black.
I'm really far away. This one is waving at 10,000 NPCs.
My arms are so sore.
Fully explore 10k class star systems.
Drive 10k away from your settlement.
Mine 10,000 tons of ore.
Sell 10,000 mugs.
Make it to 10k your own unique way.
Visit specialeffect.org.uk and sign up for 10k your way.
Hello and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite
and the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous,
and the fantastic
community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from the Orange Sidewinder and hosted by a vending machine technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads.
A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Dizzo.
The name of the place.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 540 of Lave Radio, the show that likes to talk about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix Defire, otherwise known as Colin Ford, Chief Archivist of Lave Station, and joining me in the Orange Sidewinder bar for this episode, we have our SRV Banksy, Commander Alec Turner.
540! Thank you. Good evening. Hello.
We have our Staff Liaison Officer, Commander Claire, otherwise known as Psychit.
The way round, but I won't hold it against you.
It's
Hi,
okay,
folks.
it's too hot, obviously.
It's too hot. It's too hot for me. I'm not doing this.
And also we have our Head of Health and Safety, Commander Edelweiss, otherwise known as Ben Woodward.
Those apes were never worth nothing.
Oh, okay.
No idea.
Yeah.
Checks out.
So if you wish, yeah, you can join us live. I do believe the Chris Mark IV is hanging out in the Lave Station somewhere. And Ben, I think, are you flying about tonight?
I'm killing people this evening.
Oh, good. Glad to hear that. Get that notoriety up high.
Yeah. Oh, it's doing stuff for Leon Ree.
So yes, you can go find them in open. If you can't find us, you can also join the Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live. Click on the live chat, and then go to or just go straight to Twitch TV/Lave Radio, or we're on YouTube as well, but we don't chat there. So hello to everybody in the Twitch chat room. So I'll have a quick run around everybody in the crew, see how they've been this week. We'll start with Claire. Apart from the fact it's hot, how are you?
I'm good. What have I been up to? Well, I went and met up with some folks on a lovely Saturday afternoon in Bristol, which was really, really nice. We had it was a great turnout. I went and said hello. Artie was the best behaved boy. He was so well behaved. I was so proud of him until until his social battery ran out about the same time as my husband's social battery. And yeah, it was lovely. We played some games of Werewolf. We had some new people come who had never been before. Who were like, oh wow, there's something going on in the area. Let's go. And it was just such a lovely chill day. And the place that we go, we've been there for the last 4 years, every time, because it is just, they're so nice to us and they're so accommodating. And it was just a really nice day. We always put together this little pack of items to sort of like send people home with, and that's the best that Katie's ever done with that as well. I love the pack that we got. Yeah, it's lovely meetup is a really, really special event, and I love the fact that we keep doing it and just meet it like another day to meet people that I speak to so often on the interwebs, and just to come together and have a lovely. It is literally what it says on the tin. It's my favourite time, and the pub are lovely, and we'll be doing it again next year for sure. But yeah, that's my that was my most of the stuff that I did in the weekend. I have what have I been doing in gaming? I have been doing. I was kind of at a loss of some stuff to do because I did a practice run for the buckyball that's coming up this week. And then I was like, oh, I'll do a little bit of power play stuff. And that was kind of fun. Not all of them felt doable, but I didn't engage with the CG because the not instantly reaping the rewards, or like seeing your progress, not that instant seeing of your progress not being placed to any of the three people who are involved. When people were explaining how it worked to me, I instantly went, not for me. So I didn't do any of that. And I'm okay with that. But I built a couple of ships. I've done some buckyball practice. And now I am around playing different CMS games. I am now back on my Mass Effect shit, but we just started Mass Effect 2 with Renegade, and I'm seeing shit that I've never seen before. Already I've done like 4 hours, and I'm seeing stuff that I've never seen before, because I always play like a goody two shoes little hero type. Like a hero type, because you want to play the hero when you play the video game. So it's been really fun. It's really fun, and it makes me laugh a lot. Commander Shepard is a bitch.
Oh yeah, when you're playing a full Renegade through, it's funny. A lot funnier than being normal.
She's a bitch. Somebody in chat said when we finished Mass Effect 1 and it was all red and I lost my mind. Somebody in chat said to me, the way that they play it is they play it like they're a director. So that they're not putting their heart and soul into it. They're like directing a movie kind of thing, and they're reacting to the movie, and also they are the director at the same time. So they're giving the instruction, but they're not playing it like from the heart kind of thing. So that's what I've taken into heart a little bit. I was so mean to Tally today, and I was really sad. I was so mean to Tally. It made me very upset. I was like, I'm not going to be mean to Tally. It'll be fine. And then I was mean to Tally, and it wasn't nice. But yeah, that. I accused her of certain things. I was like, you know who I am. It was really mean. I didn't like it. It felt mean. I wasn't keen. But yeah, that's been about it as far as like my gaming and stuff is concerned. It's been really, really fun. Like I've had a really nice week. It's been lovely, one might say.
Yeah, I must admit, when I'm playing the equivalent of a dark side playthrough or an evil playthrough, I have trouble. I
so difficult.
I cannot be that bad to people in Baldur's Gate. I cannot be that nasty to anybody in Mass Effect. I think I once did one Star Wars Dark Side playthrough on Knights of the Old Republic, and no, I couldn't do it because I was killing things I shouldn't.
I got to I was starting doing like an evil dirge run in Baldur's Gate 3, and I got to the point where I wiped the grove, literally went through and wiped the grove, and thank fuck there's a moment where you go down to where all of the kids are, and the kids are already dead, so it's not an issue. But at that point I was like, this is really harrowing, and I don't know how I feel about it. So I would probably go back and do an evil run at some point, but maybe very far in the future when I don't still feel quite as emotionally attached to Baldur's Gate as I do. It's a very weird feeling, like seeing all of these characters that you love, like these NPCs that you love, and they're just getting fucking slaughtered. Not for me. So we'll see how Mass Effect 2 goes.
It depends if I've had a really bad day and someone's basically taken it out of me, so I need to take it out on the bad guys or the good guys. Even that's the only time I've got into that mindset. But yeah, okay, we'll move over to Ben. How have you been?
Yeah, I've been fine. I've done very, very little gaming wise. I think I've played about an hour or two of Grand Theft Auto Enhanced, trying to figure out what the hell the difference is between enhanced and normal. Because I don't remember, the graphics don't seem to be all that enhanced. The gameplay seems to be the same. The only thing that I've noticed that's different is I've got access to a slightly different car. I'm sure there's more, but I don't know what's meant to be enhanced about it.
Actually, I remember there being a bit of a hoo-ha when this thing came out as advanced. Everyone said, "We can't really tell the difference. How is it advanced? So enhanced, rather."
Yeah, I know. I was looking. I was like, okay, 'cause I was expecting with the enhanced edition to be, like verging on photorealistic graphics, like they've got in the mods. I was like, no, it's. I was expecting 4K textures for at least the main characters, and hopefully some of the others. Nah. I'm like, okay, it's still Grand Theft Auto, and it's still what it is. But I don't know what the hell is enhanced about it. I was meant to be playing Red Dead Redemption, but I saw, we've got the. I'll have to try that out and see what it is. And yeah, so I've been playing a little bit of that on my gamepad. That's really been about the extent of my gaming availability. I am looking forward to this weekend though, because I'm going to go see Superman, and I am looking forward to that.
It's on Friday, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm in a 10 o'clock showing on Screen X or whatever the hell it is. So yeah, I am looking forward to that. And that's that's really been about it in terms of fun things. Other than that, I've got plans. I've locked in plans for Aberdeen, for going up to Aberdeen and meeting siblings and sort of basically trying to. How do I say this nicely? Bury my dead grandmother is probably the nicest way of saying it, isn't it?
Yeah. It is the way that one would say that, yeah.
Factually correct.
Well, that's not how I actually, I'm like, basically you want to make sure they're dead and say that way is actually what I feel, but
okay.
I'm not sure if I can say that on air.
It's a bit late now.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I remain super hyped and excited about Osiris Reborn, though.
Fair enough. Very, very well said. Alec.
Yes. I don't know if I can top that. No. I had an amazingly similar weekend to Claire, strangely enough. I went up to I went to Bristol. I popped in to see my daughter on the way up in the morning, which was lovely. And then I went to lovely meetup, and as previously mentioned, it was lovely. I really like beer gardens at the best of times, and it's a really nice beer garden. And it was really cool because they moved us. They had this marquee for, like, I don't know, wedding receptions and things, and they weren't using it. And it did start to rain, and we were all edging in under the big umbrella, so they moved us into the marquee, which was super cool. So
it's really nice. That was down to Pete. That was Pete. Did all of that.
Was it? Good job, Pete.
Yeah, it was Pete. It was great.
Yeah, it was nice. So we spent the first half in the marquee, and then went outside later on when the party turned up. I really liked playing werewolf, so I played it a bit at ECM. But I tell you what, it's so much better when you're not quite so drunk and you actually understand what's going on and some of the rules. I really enjoyed Werewolf a
That'll
lot.
do it, Alec. Definitely.
Yeah, it definitely helps. I I was amused scrolling back through the chat just now that I can remember the days when I'd sort of go out for some party or something, and the "we're still going" crowd would post their pictures at 2 in the morning, like at some nightclub or something. And I was amused to see that the photo of me and a few others still going was taken at 9:15. Way rock and roll, but but we
You know
lasted
what?
for
You know what? We've got older, and that's fine.
No, it's great. It was really lovely just doing, Werewolf and then just talking shit until 9 or 10 or whatever it was. Liked that a lot. What else have I done? I finished watching Andor season 2, which is stunning.
It is,
Fucking
isn't it?
stunning. We talked a lot, the late crowd at Lovely Meetup about particularly, I won't give any spoilers, but particularly the episode called Who Are You? But wow, that series is incredible. In game, I've been continuing with my BGS dabbling, which has been a lot of fun. So I managed. So this is in my colonization system where I want to get the race marshals in control of most of the stuff. So we successfully brought about a civil war, and then we won the civil war. So the race marshals now own the Happy Bottom Riding Club. Yes. And then you get into the slightly weird bit of the BGS. I expect everyone knows this, but the weird bit where you have to build your opponents back up in order to knock them down again. So having won it, the furry cats end up with a lower influence and we ended up with a higher one, but I want them level again so we can have another civil war. So you have to start doing missions for your enemies and things like that, which is really weird, but hey ho, that's the way the game works. And in fact, I think we've just kicked off the next civil war, and this is a good one because if we can win this one, then we take Drakir Point, which is the finish line of the Drakir Rally, which is what I really wanted. So this is going to be really cool. That's my BGS work. Speaking of the Drakir Rally, I've been having a lot of fun. People have been asking me to do this for years. It's very hard to know how to teach other people to do a thing that you've spent so long doing. It's just kind of instinctive. But I've been trying to break down in my head how I drive the SRV and make a series of SRV driving tutorials. I think it's going quite well so far. I came up with some nice exercises for people to do that I'm quite pleased with. And I've got the third one ready to go, and I'm just recording the narration to it now. But and then I'm going to do a special on. I'm probably going to incorporate how to do pit stops into this one because they fit quite naturally. And I've had quite a lot of requests. I'm going to try and do a special on mountain climbing as well, which has its own unique techniques, I guess. So that, and also, of course, Claire has the 10K Buckyball Way race, and I've been doing regulation. So I've been outfitting the Cobra Mark V regulation build for that and doing some runs around that course. And I mean, having seen it evolve, I know this is coincidence, as it often is in buckyball racing, but the route plotting of the course for regulation is interesting. Let's just say.
Oh no, you put me off.
There are a couple of corners to be cut if you try really hard. I think on the route. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that.
I would agree, only to the extent. No, I'll save it. I'll save it for later. We can mention that later.
I'll just ask, when you say corners to be cut, you don't mean corners that are cut off the ship, are you?
No, jumps to be saved is probably the.
Right.
There may be some jumps to be saved. It's yet to be put to the test, and it's a bit fiddly, but. And I haven't even tried unlimited yet. I suppose I'll throw the Mandalay around it, but I haven't given that too much thought yet.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks, Sulu. I do seem to have built up a reputation for cheating in the buckyball racing club and cutting corners. Honestly, you accidentally cut one corner 5 years ago, and people just won't let it go. Anyway, yeah, that's been my week.
Lovely. Well, my turn. It's mostly been a week of coding katas for other people to prove that I can actually code, and talking to people on Teams while wearing a shirt and tie. Oh, and smart
Yep.
trousers as well.
Are
not,
pants
I'm
optional
not.
for this, Colin?
Well, yes, but they'll be they're underneath the trousers.
I'm thinking American pants.
We're not going
It
full
doesn't sound
Superman
right
here
to make
with
trousers
pants
optional.
over the trousers. Okay.
You can wear your pants over your trousers if you want. There's nothing wrong with it.
Unless you've got a piss on your chest, then yeah, there's quite a lot wrong with it, to be honest. But
We don't pant shame here.
What's happening? Shall we move on? How are you doing, Colin?
I don't know. Ben's just being. Apart from that, plenty of elite. Although I'm trying at the moment to become unfriendly with the Sirius Corporation, because I need that for an engineer, and I'm doing that power play on the other guy, but I haven't got involved with the CG because, well, not any of my powers are involved, but I'm a bit confused at how it works, to be honest. So yeah,
That's the reason why I'm doing it.
Well, perhaps you could explain that to me when we actually come to it. And yeah, that's it. A little bit of I did spend 3/4 of an hour just going through and setting up all my bindings. I've been wanting to do this for absolutely ages, but set up my joystick properly for Star Wars Squadrons, and that meant I was actually playing Star Wars Squadrons for the first time in almost a year and a half since I got these joysticks, and thoroughly loving it. And then remembering how small the cockpit of an X-wing and a TIE fighter is compared to the cockpits in Elite Dangerous.
You're doing it in VR, yeah?
Yeah, in VR, and it honestly it's claustrophobic.
Are there any that are comparable, like the ship launch fighters, or maybe the Eagle, or I don't know?
No, none of the ships are, but the fighters are.
Okay.
The fight is you get that feeling of being slightly cramped in, but
Yeah.
nowhere near do you feel that the windscreen or the plexiglass or whatever the scientific term for the canopy is right in front of your nose. Because you can actually look around and see all the glass scrap on the cockpit. Sort of think that's close.
Can you play that game in VR as well?
What, Star Wars Squadrons? Yes.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So you really have got a sense of scale. You know exactly how far that glass is from your nose.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, it that's the one thing but when you're flying in specifically, it does feel like you're just strapped into it, and you've got nowhere to go. It's fight or die in that thing. So, yeah. So yeah, that's been my week really. So let's have a quick the development news. Well, we've had a little bit of a surprise this week. First of all, the Corsair can now be bought for credits.
Yay!
And no one saw that coming.
Dead on 3 months. This one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was a lot less than because it got to now. I'm not counting the days, but I saw it bandied about on another Discord. It's been 108 days. The first one was 86 days, and now it's 108 days.
Oh, was that for the Cobra 5?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was, but there was definitely I do know who it was. I'm not going to say who it was, but there was someone who had listed how many days each one was, and was very to be fair, someone had done that. This same person had done that after the first one happened, and said that the next one would definitely drop the exact same amount of days afterwards. So
based on a sample of one, I feel like their maths is their stat is lacking.
A statistician would be like, "Are you sure about that?"
Maybe wait for a sample of 2.
Yeah.
At least.
100% sure.
They were like certain. You couldn't say to them, "Oh, actually, it might not come out at that point." Nope.
No, they promised.
Frontier promised it will only be 3 months, and the last one is exactly this long, and now it's been 2 days over, and then it had been quite a few more days over.
Yeah. Oh dear. I mean, I was actually quite surprised that it got released to credits this early. I was probably waiting for another couple of weeks before the Panther came out, but
Yeah,
hey,
I've already done the form for the Buckyball, and I'd left the pick your ship. I'd left the Corsair out of it because I bloody knew. I was like, it's not going to be in there, is it?
No.
I should have looked at the samples a bit better.
Yeah.
Do you know what occurred to me with all the Corsair stuff? Because I saw it again today. You know, they did all this incredible promotion for the Corsair, like all the Gutamaya web pages and
Oh yeah,
things.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I wonder if they'll do the same for the Clipper.
Oh, I should think. Well, I hope
I mean,
so.
obviously, based on a sample of 1, of course they will.
Well, you could argue that the Corsair promotion is because Gutamaya and the Empire are very flash, and you could downplay the Panther because that company isn't quite as flash in its marketing.
You know what I
we
think
shall
it will
see.
be? I think it will be the direct correlation between if the Corsair saw a spike in sales.
Yeah.
If the more people bought the Corsair, that is what we would have an idea then of.
Was it worth putting all the work in on the promotion
Yeah.
for it?
Yeah.
Wait,
No,
marketing works.
I could just imagine the advert for the Panther Clipper, someone in a broad Yorkshire accent going, "Does what it says on tin." That would be it.
There's a big fucking shit, mate, in it.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's not all that happened this week. We also got a bit of a surprise on Thursday as Trailblazers 3.4 dropped on the servers. It was a server-side drop, and so nobody needed any new client. But it was a bit of a surprise because it had a few. Well, to tell you the truth, it's more power play than it is colonization.
Yeah.
Which,
now we see the problem with naming your updates.
Yeah.
It's only a small problem, but it.
Yeah. First thing we should point out, there's now a new community goal type. And they've also said future community goals may require commanders to destroy specific power-aligned ships within power conflict zones. And this will take place across multiple systems and may help shape the galaxy.
But we need to fix power conflict zones first.
Yeah.
All right, loose screws, I've got you back.
Ah, right. Yes. Yeah, I heard that Loose Screws episode, and yeah.
Do you mean every episode where they bang on about power conflict zones being broken?
Well, it has been 36 weeks.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Just so in case it isn't a crossover, what's broken about power play? Power play conflict zones.
I believe they don't spawn, or they disappear once the BGS ones kind of overwrite them, or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, it's a complicated one with one system getting in the way of the other, and yeah, it's a bit weird. Next thing, they've said further changes have been made to power play in order to encourage more aggressive play and create more vulnerability and therefore fluidity in power territory. In other words, you lot have been defending too much. We need you to attack.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've gone and done quite a few extensive changes. From now on, control scores, which is what we use to reinforce systems, they're going to start decaying every week, and they're going to decay up to down to 25% over time. You won't lose, say for instance, you've got a stronghold and you don't reinforce it all that much, then it will eventually decay down to 25%, thus making it more vulnerable for undermining. And the same with fortified. So if you don't move it up to stronghold, then it will start decaying, and again will hold at 25%. they have said that a system cannot change their state via decay, which is great. And it also says the amount of system decay is non-linear. So that means that the more percentage that you've got, the faster the decay will happen.
Is that how
So
we're reading it? That it decays quickly? I suppose that makes sense. Decays quickly at the top end and then
yeah,
tails off towards 25%.
yes.
The rate.
So
Yeah.
so you got that kind of linear thing. So put it this way, it's going to be harder to to keep those reinforced systems up at full stronghold, which we're already seeing, but we'll talk about that later.
Is there a huge benefit to, as someone who literally just dabbles and does the missions that are offered to them? Is there a massive benefit to have a stronghold at 100% than comparatively, let's say 50%? Is there a massive benefit to that, or is it negligible?
No, there is a massive benefit because it's incredibly difficult to it's a lot more work to get to undermine 100% fortified system. You need an awful lot of. It's a really serious coordinated effort to get a stronghold down from 100% sated down 50.
Whereas presumably a stronghold that's been neglected and has fallen all the way back down to 25 is a definite target for other powers.
Yeah, that will definitely be a target for other people to do undermining on.
Yeah, I get it. It's cool.
Yeah.
I don't play it really, a bit like Claire, but I do get it. I think it's quite cool. It's funny because the word decay, when I first saw the word decay, and maybe I'm wrong about this, I think it was something else. But I remember decay being a bit of a dirty word where power play was concerned.
Oh, yes.
But it was in another regard, I think. But in this regard, once I read and understood why they were doing it, I thought, okay, that sounds pretty good actually.
Yeah, because what happened in the last one is your all the time now your personal account goes up and up and up. It doesn't decay.
Oh, that
Well,
was it. It
did
was
in
your
the old
personal.
one.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're at a level 100. You stay at a level 100. You don't lose levels, which is great. But obviously, it's like adding uptick or upkeep to control systems now. So
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems like a popular change from what I've read.
Yeah, and I'm quite agreeing with this because as we have pointed out that we've had the same level of people in the same places for quite a while. Then we've had a couple of movements, but that's it.
Yes, because we joked about this, didn't we? We were like, and remember how Darren was like when he was talking about it, saying, "Oh, well, it's going to be amazing to see all of these powers shifting and undulating all of the time," and it hasn't. It never came to fruition. Do you think there's more of a chance of it happening now with that? Oh, that's brilliant. Then that's great.
Yeah. And when we get to the published standings, I'll be able to point out a couple of places where this is already having effect.
That's excellent.
Yeah, so that is not all because there's even more. Merits gained by reinforcing a system will now operate on a sliding scale. So that means, oh yeah, I covered that one. Cross that one off the list. Right. Depending on how much undermining effort a system has been subjected to in the past 24 hours, merits gained for enforcement adjustments will adjust in the range between -20 and +30. So this
That's
means
percentage.
It's percentage, yes.
Okay.
So this means you could have a possibility of trying to undermine a system, yet your efforts are 20% less effective. But there are alternatives when your undermining efforts will be 30%, almost a third more effective than before. I got a sneaking suspicion that's going to be in the same sliding scale. So if the system you're trying to undermine is quite high, say 80s, 90s, then I think you'll get the 30% bonus. However, as you get closer to the 25, that system falls towards 25. That's when the actions will start scoring less, if you see what I mean.
The
my
for
readings.
example, I'm
Or am I
reading it
reading that
exactly the other way round. I think. From what I can, sorry, because it gives a
you're
for
quite right. I
example,
read this wrong.
reinforcing a system which has not been undermined at all in the last past 24 hours would result in minus 20 merits gained. So if you're doing what is effectively pointless work, so you're reinforcing a system that's already at 95%, you're not going to get you'll get less merits than if you're reinforcing a system that needs the help.
Gotcha. Right. I read that completely wrong. I got my reinforcing and undermining effort. Because it says here, depending on how much undermine. Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah. So if it's gone down, just to clarify.
Yes. Okay. So Claire's right. I'm wrong. Right. And finally.
Power play, Colin. Nobody had that on their 2025 bingo card.
Finally, merit bonuses are changing. At the moment, for any offensive activity that you're doing against subpower, you get a +5 bonus, +5% bonus for all the merits you gain. That's been changed to +15. So, yay. However, if you are just occupying a new system, you used to get a 5% bonus. You get nothing now. They've taken that 5% bonus away. Yeah.
Is this to cover people just moving into colonization systems?
I think so. That's what it looks like.
So you get nothing for that.
Yeah, you don't get a bonus. You don't get a bonus for going after unoccupied systems now, which I think was overdue because
cool. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, we could talk about other things about that later. A defensive activity, which is reinforcement, that's unchanged, so you still get the -35% on that. So plus all the other minuses that we've already mentioned. So yeah, this has not really been a colonization change at all. This has just been pure power play, with a couple of fixes as well. The fixes include a fix for power conflict zones not starting due to missing faction information, which is supposed to be the fix that the loose screws have been after for absolutely ages.
Sounds good.
Problem is, it's not there yet.
No.
No, what happens is that the conflict zones appear, but they don't seem to work.
Okay.
So yeah, that needs a little bit of looking at, I'm afraid. We've actually got a colonization fix. Fix additional causes of systems not displaying flags for initial port locations and not being claimable via system colonization. Although, I will admit, this week, I forgot to mention this, I completed my asteroid base. And
congratulations. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it without a Panther Clipper, mate? What's happening?
I had to get it out of the way because I've got so much other stuff to do at the moment, which is driving me up the wall. And a satellite. The thing is, what's happened, the strong and weak links seem to be all over the place. Because before there was a weak link from the alpaca farm, which was the big agricultural thing that I put in, to the initial station. Now that the asteroid base has gone in right next to the sun, and the closest base to it is the alpaca farm, the alpaca farm's now got a strong link to the asteroid base, so the asteroid base is an agricultural stroke extraction market.
Okay.
Is that right?
I'm trying to picture what an agricultural extraction would look like in real life.
In the middle of an asteroid base, yeah.
Yeah. It's a strange mix, I'll give you that.
It's a strange,
Oh, you space the alpacas, don't you?
What are they extracting from those poor alpacas is what I want to know.
Alpaca hair, wigs for people that need it.
Not Nessie milk.
Oh no.
Alpacas prolapsed while you wait.
Oh Jesus.
Sorry.
Oh,
I swear to God, I'd fully checked out by that point then. And I came back in. I did one of those things where you started talking and I blanked again, and then I heard something about a prolapse. Am I right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I threw it in there to wake you up.
Yes.
It's nice to know that my voice has the effect of making Claire check out, but never mind.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that. I was like, oh, I should be getting the show notes ready. So I'd opened that and realized I just stopped listening for just a moment. And then I came back to something about prolapses. I was like, oh no, I should have been listening.
For the record,
Maybe
I would
should
like
have
people to
listened.
know it was Alec who mentioned this, not Ben.
Yeah, well, a broken clock's right twice a day, isn't it? So, right. Well, the last fix was they've actually fixed additional causes of console accounts failing to transfer from legacy to live. So, yes, if you want your Xbox or PlayStation account being transferred to the latest game, then yes, they've got it working again. So, thumbs up. So I will hand over to Alec for the vast amount of community news.
And now, to the community coroner.
It's a dead game, innit, mate?
Roll up, roll up, roll up. It's sign up week. First up, we have Distant Worlds 3 is finally open for applications. And so you can now sign up and say you would officially like to go on Distant Worlds 3 next year. We will include a link in the show notes to the forum thread where they've announced this. But what's really cool, I really like this, is if you go to that forum thread, there's then a link to a new website. They've done a whole new website for Distant Worlds 3, which includes the sign up link and loads of other stuff. But it just beautifully mirrors the Station Services UI. It looks straight out of Station Services, but like where the shipyard would be is the big sign up button. And I don't know, it's fantastic. I really like
Really good. It's really good. I've included a link to that in the show notes as well.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a super cool piece of work. So yeah, if you're planning on going on DW3, then click the button and sign up. There was a comment about there's no huge rush because the early numbers, which I guess were quite prized, aren't. There isn't a rush to get those early numbers or something. I didn't really get that, but presumably they've already gone.
Can't
People
be 0007 or something like that.
aren't people retaining their numbers from the previous Distant Worlds if they're precious to them? I can't remember. Anyway, no super rush, but yeah, if you're going, it's obviously great for organisers of things like that to know who's planning on turning up. Speaking of which, as of today, I have now created a link for the Drakir Rally. So there's a sign up form for that. It's nowhere near as pretty as the Distant Worlds 3 website. Sorry about that. It's just a Google form, but it's not essential. But I would really like to know who have some sense of who's planning on coming to and having a crack at Distant Rally. Sorry, Distant Rally. What the hell? Drakir Rally. Which is on the 10th of August. This is my 250-kilometer SRV ride. So the idea is every individual that's planning on driving clicks on the form and just enters their name so I know who's driving. And then there's an option there to put your team name in. So if you're in a team of 3, for example, if you can all sign up and just put the same team name in, then it will help me tie them together and sort of know who's racing and who's in what teams. Yeah, one of the reasons I need it is because or why it's really useful is on the day I want to have a spreadsheet where I can record everyone's times, and if I've already got the spreadsheet pre-done from the signups, it makes life a lot easier than having to go around everyone in the instance and start jotting down everyone's names. So yeah, there's that. And speaking of the Drakir Rally, and I sort of mentioned this at the start of the show, but I've been working on a bunch of SRV driving tutorials, specifically for the rally, but also sort of generally. So there's 2 already. I've made a playlist which I'm going to link in the show notes, and there's definitely one more coming, and then probably a few more coming of those. Right, that's all the sign up stuff. Next, and we're into 10K territory. So first up, Beetlejude continues on her own amazing 10K Your Way art attack. So she's published another video, which I confess I still haven't watched yet. Did anyone else get to see it? What's she done this time? What's picture number 2?
It's a hauler. Hang on, no, it's Killback, Little Flappy Wings. It's a Little Flappy Winged hauler. It's very fun. It's a lovely video. It's Jude doing amazing things with her lovely videos. I'm bad at things. It's Jude being incredible.
It's Jude drawing and talking, and we all love that. And it's a Killback. Fantastic. I'll watch that one later. Doing an art attack, says Little Big Yin. Quite right. Next, number 5. It's basically 10K the nicey way. I love all these names. So it's just a post on Nicey's blog that Nicey is trying to think of a way to join in with the 10K thing that's going on. And what they say at the end of their blog, which I quite like, is the plan is to do some power playing against Kane in a crate using only kinematic weapons on foot and kinetic weapons on the ship. There's your Ks. Nice job. Next up, we have a thing called 10K the Buckyball race. Some kind of 10K the Buckyball way. Some kind of race. Anyone want to talk about that? We've talked about it already.
Absolutely nuts. Of course I want to talk about it. Absolutely. 2 Thursdays ago, Alec and I forgot that we were streaming it, that I was streaming, and just talked for like an hour. And made up a race.
Didn't we?
We did maths. We did maths on the stream.
Live
we did
maths.
maths on the stream. It was live maths. It was really good fun, and we built a race. The thing that I was going to talk about earlier, the thing that I was going to talk about earlier with the buckyball, with the buckyball 10K the buckyball way, is there's quite a few white dwarfs on that old journey. Just for those people who are like fastidiously plotting and feel like a white dwarf is going to be a good shout for them to do stuff, I haven't disallowed white like jump boosting, because fair play to you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like super frame shift drive boosting, because fair play to you if you're able to do it. Because on a I tried doing it on a white dwarf before, and I hit the exclusion zone twice, and I just went, you know what, this isn't for me, and I'm just going to do it without the help of the white dwarf.
I'll tell you one thing, and ships do behave differently, but that poor old Cobra Mark V sure does get thrown around in a white dwarf.
So yeah, that's another aspect to think about if you're wanting to do the race. I will say also, I thought one of the stops was going to be one of the stops has quite a big hill to climb out of. Well, quite a steep hill, which I thought was going to be a problem in the Scarab, and it's not. It's fine. It's absolutely fine climbing out the big hill. The one that is a problem is the one with all the fucking rocks all around it. So it's a really interesting race, and I think you'll enjoy it, and I genuinely think it's worth having a go on. I think you'll have... Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say the third one, or it may be the third one, or one of the other two, but there's also one. This kind of caught me off guard, because it let me land on its pad. This is when I was still scouting, and I thought, oh, okay, so they're happy for me to be here because they've allowed me to, they've given me clearance to land on their pad. So I land, and then I go into the galaxy map, and I start looking at how far is it to that way, how far is it to that way, which is the least number of jumps. You know, I'm making notes, and I'm vaguely aware of some cacophony going on in the background. And I come out of the galaxy map, and I'm surrounded by lots of little men on foot with waving shotguns at me. And they've already taken down the shields of my ship. So, yeah, don't be fooled by the old landing pad honeypot, because they will come for you. So
really
dismiss
fun.
the ship.
The other thing that happened with me is one that I couldn't land on in a Mandalay. I drove the 3,333 meters that I need to drive away from it, and then I looked back and my ship was somehow still there, and the landing gear had got caught under some stairs, and I was like, this is the most cursed race, and it's amazing. It's so good. I highly recommend doing it, because it's a little bit tumultuous. I think would be a good race for it. It's really fun.
Right. Anyway, on with Community Corner. So yeah, lots of 10K stuff going on, and actually, Homburger contacted me just to say that basically anyone in the elite community, if you're doing a 10K thing, so we know about Beetle Jude, we know about Nicey, we know about Claire and the Buckyball. If there's anything else, then do please let us know. Contact me or the Lave Radio Discord or email info@laveradio.com, so we can try and get a list of all the 10K things that are going on for next week's show.
I
In
have
fact, I've just
included.
noticed. I've
Yeah,
just noticed that Claire.
I have included a link in the show notes to the special effect page, which is the Tiltify page 10K Your Way, which shows all of the Tiltify fundraisers who are doing it. Now, this isn't just Elite Dangerous players, because it can covers other people as well. But from that page, you can see all of the like a lot of the people who have signed up via the links that page has given us. So they include from I hope I catch everyone who is Elite Dangerous here. Beetle Jude, Totally Not a Demon, Ms. Groke, The Announcer Live, Commander Orange Phoenix, Nikki Dangerous, Commander Andrew Johnson, some dickhead called Psychit, Commander Ned, Apaphis. Apaphis hasn't started yet, which is why it's a little bit further back on the following page. Those I believe are the Elite Dangerous commanders who are doing things here. There is also, if you're not on the Tiltify page, do please get in touch. But like Dior, who is a member of the community, who is completing 2 10K actual genuine runs with physical effort in July when he's not at lovely meetups on Saturdays, but he's doing 2 10K runs in July, and I think he's doing a half marathon later in the year for special effect. His link is also in the show notes, but if you have any other ones, please let us know and we'll put them in the show notes.
Brilliant, amazing, thank you. Last, just 3 videos. So a really nice exploration montage, episode 18 now of the Elite Dangerous Odyssey exploration montage series by Coeneman02. One thing I was really struck by just watching this, it's a while since I've watched an exploration montage, is really nice use of, so there are kind of cuts between different scenes, and there are typically in each scene camera movement and or ship movement. And what I was really struck by is that the pace of those movements are all identical. So there's no sort of jarring cutting from a scene where something's moving slowly to cutting to a scene where it's moving top to bottom and a bit faster, or there's just this consistency that's can't be accidental. It's beautiful, really nicely done. Should have done these in the other order, actually. I'm going to shuffle these up slightly. And speaking of really beautiful photography, Commander Rini of the Burr Pit has done, it's not exactly a sort of late Elite Dangerous My Way thing, but it's similar. So it's Elite Dangerous in 2025 by Commander Rini. And I'm always struck when I watch the cinematography in Which Space News, and I always think, that's not fair. I've got like the high-end rig, everything's on ultra, and my game definitely does not look as good as that. And then maybe I go and pay more attention, and it kind of does. But I always think the game on the Birds videos just looks at its absolute best. And the Birds are very keen to always point out that they don't use any mods or hacks. They're very strong on promoting the game exactly as it is. If you buy this game, this is what you will get. Obviously, they've got decent PCs, but they're not using any kind of mods or tweaks or anything. So yeah, the game really does look that good. And one of the things Reen really good at is really nice slow panning, really good choice of subject matter, and just kind of taking the time to pick places that have good lighting and the shadows aren't flickering, hopefully, and things like that. And it just looks stunning. Yeah, and last of all, I just threw this in at the last moment, entirely appropriate. There's a Gutermeyer Corsair review video by Slamscape X that is really rather good. It's got a really nice breakdown of all the general stats of the Corsair, but then they also go through a whole bunch of different roles, BGS mission running, mining, AX combat, cargo trading, and just review the ship and how good it is for each of those. And it's excellent, actually. So well worth a watch if you're thinking of getting the Corsair. Yeah, and that is it. That is this week's Community Corner.
Excellent. So, if you have a community event taking place soon and would like us to shout about it across the airwaves, tweet the crew at Lave Radio or Blue Skiers, or email us at info@laveradio.com, or Alec will track you down and find you anyway, because he does that. Right, in-game events. What has been happening this week? Well, there's only been one major news item, and that is 3rd of July. A power struggle erupts in Aisling Duval's held territory. Yep, the Bluehead Princess is up against both Archer and the Sirius Corporation of Lee Yong-yu. Can she hold off those two at once? That's the main question. And I don't think the answer is she's not doing very well. So, yeah. Ben, you're the person who's doing this CG at the moment.
I don't know what I may or may not be doing it right. I'm just like, I went to the place what they told me. I found one of these things that you say you can't find, and now I'm shooting her ships down. That might be right.
Have you? Right. Yeah. Okay. Have you got points when you go back to your CG mission page? Does it show that you've made a contribution?
I haven't handed anything in yet. I don't know if I should be adding anything in, but I haven't.
Oh right, I see.
So
and you're already showing in like the top 75 or something, even without handing in.
Am I? I don't know. Let me go. Give me a second. I will go and
You might need to A, check your transactions, and B, you might need to relog. I saw people saying that.
Yeah. I've not. I've only just shown up and thought, well, that's some of her ships. I'm in a power play combat zone thingamybobber. I'll shoot them then, I guess.
Office is saying it auto updates and you get Pilot Federation bonds. So
I have seen that I've got some Pilot Federation thingies. Yes. Yeah, I've got a million odd Pilot Federation thingies.
Right. Okay. Well,
but I haven't had anything in yet. But I'll go and land.
Is it still a 2-week thing? Or
yeah, I think so.
I
think so. Let's have a look.
Yeah, when you said it was a combat-y thing, I was like, okay, I fancy shooting something. Okay, well, I don't really care about any of these people. Well, I don't care about any of these people. I don't really care about the modules, but yeah, I can shoot someone, and yeah, I don't care who I'm on. So I just went off and I picked Leodric as the person who I'd do because that's the one who had the least.
What are they? Aren't they like high capacity double shot or something, which is a good combo?
Gimbal fragment cannons, double shot and high cap. There's one of each, 1E and 3C. Gimbal fragment cannons, pre-engineered with double shot and high cap. Credits depending on tiers, blah 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 blah. And then that's about it. It's a week.
I don't care about fragment cannons.
We've got another week left, so it was a 2-week thing. So a week, 1 day and 13 hours as current time of recording.
Yeah, I take it back. Aisling is winning. She's at tier 2.
Of course she is, mate.
And the other two are at tier 1. But yeah,
I mean, I only picked this tier because it's like the underdogs are like, fuck it.
Contributors on more than them combined.
Well, the number of players, she's not that far ahead. There's about almost 4,000 players playing against her 4,000. So
4,820 and almost 4,000. It's like an extra 1,000 worth of players.
I only saw the first 4. I'm just scanning here.
It's like an extra it's
Yeah, it's
1,000 players.
2,000 odd and 1,700, so 3,700 roughly versus 4,800.
Right.
So yeah,
We're doing
Yeah.
maths again. I don't like this.
Two things I have heard about this actually is one, if you are fighting for the megaship dudes, which I guess is either of the powers other than Aisling, then it's quite convenient because you're literally fighting over the megaships, and then you can just land and restock
yeah.
without having
I've
to go somewhere,
I
which
think
is
that's
really
what
handy.
I think that's what I'm doing just now, and that's proven to be handy, I guess.
Yeah, but also
I guess as
don't
long as you
shoot.
don't shoot the megaships, yeah?
Yes, I was going to say don't
Yeah,
shoot
as
the
long as you
megaships
don't. Yeah,
because
I
they
made
get
that mistake
mad.
earlier. Um, but Colin, was it these power conflict zones that you said don't exist?
It's what Lee Screws was saying don't exist, but then they do
So
say in
if
the
they
patch
don't
notes they
exist, what
fixed
am I
it.
looking at here?
Well, they're clearly
Well,
working here. This is a
the work,
special case, though, maybe.
it
Maybe,
could
yeah.
be because the conflict zones they're referring to is when you're trying to acquire a system, and another power is trying to acquire that system at the same time. That's when those conflict zones are supposed to spawn. If they've come up with new conflict zones for this community goal, then they're obviously working. But
Yeah, but they might be special.
yeah, they might be, but
Yeah,
at least they're working.
that is true. And one thing that I was honestly expecting was for it to be a little bit more like the normal conflict zones, where it's like, you're entering a conflict zone. Please pick who you want to fight for. I was like, no,
is
I
it not
really
like
have
that?
to. No,
No, it isn't.
No,
If you're not pledged, if you're pledged to one of them, then it works just like you'll see red people and green people, and you'll be fighting the right people. You'll be fighting the red people if you are siding with the green people. But if you're not pledged to anyone, you just have to look. Am I right in
I've just
saying
got
that,
green and
Ben?
green. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've green and green every time I take off. So so I guess I'm having to. I need to remember which mission. If I'm joining Leon Ree's thing and I'm shooting Aisling Duval's stuff, I'm having to look for Aisling's fighters, I guess. But at least I only have to look for it once, and then I can just keep selecting red.
So you don't get to pick, and because you're not pledged, you don't have an obvious enemy. So you're literally having to choose your targets, and in order to do the right thing for the CG.
Yeah.
I think there's probably a better way that they can do it, that Frontier can do it, but I don't know how that would be.
You could
Especially with the
reintroduce
way
the
it
sign
currently
up.
works.
You could reintroduce the CZ sign up screen,
Yeah.
couldn't you? If you're not pledged and automatically sign up.
I've always quite liked the CG sign up thing, me bobber.
Yeah,
and
but
I
I
always
also
like I like in the CG in the sign up things, like, oh my gosh, the press arrived, get rid of them. Always like the special little missions you get.
Yeah,
because they're constant wars as well, though, so they don't have like an end.
No.
So I don't know what the answer is.
War Without End Part 1.
Yeah.
We'll monitor this and see how things go. I think Psychic is quite correct in the fact that the Blue-Haired Princess will probably reign supreme over these two.
Oh, no doubt.
Yes.
As long as the reward is a bedspread, I don't care. A TV bedspread.
Could be worse, could be bathwater. But never mind. Right. Okay, that brings us on to the Power Play listings. In 12th, the Spider Lady Torval still stays at the bottom of the pile. However, she has gained 21 systems this week, bring us up to 587. In 11, we have Winters, who has gained 13 systems to 614. 10th, Patreus has actually gained 20 systems, going up to 664. In 9th, we have the Pirate King Delaney. He has gained 14 systems, up to 682. And Kane in 8th has gained an extra 27 systems, going up to 826. Now, we have something strange I've never seen this before. We've got a joint 6th. Archer and Antal are both tied at 841 systems, with Archer gaining 44 and Antal gaining 34, which means that Archer's actually jumped 2 places. So, or is it Intel has jumped 2 places? I'm sure Kane was higher than Intel like last week, but
last week hadn't Antel just overtaken Kane again? The week before, Kane overtook Antel, and then Antel fought back last week.
Yes, so Antel's actually caught up with Archer.
Yeah, so I think Antel's climbing here.
And yeah, he's doing well. He's doing well. But unfortunately, in 5th place, we've got Lee Young-Ru, who's far away and ahead with 1,005 systems, having gained 32. Grom has gained 24 in 4th place, up to 1,109. And then a weird week for the Emperor, because she may have gained 22 systems to bring her up to 1,466. However, she has lost 3 strongholds, bringing her total down to 126, which was strange. In 2nd, we have Mahan, who's gained 41 systems and brings his total to 1,576. But, as usual, in 1st place, having gained a massive 55 systems, we have Princess Aisling Duval on 1,648 systems. I'm going to have to double check that, but I think it's actually right, unfortunately. So yes, that's your power play systems this week.
I don't think the Antal gaining is right, because I was looking at that going, how does that make sense? Because Antal would have to have gained more systems than Archer, and he has.
Yeah, I think I've got those numbers the wrong way around.
Yeah,
so.
I think yeah, there's something there which involves numbers that I can't math without getting a calculator out, but it doesn't matter. That's so cool. They're an actual dead heat. I love that.
Yeah, it does seem strange. Right at this moment, a lot of those systems have come in from exploited systems. So that is a lot of new unexplored systems or colonized systems have been claimed by the powers, and a lot of them. I mean, Aisling has hardly gained any strongholds or fortified, but a lot of new exploited systems. So yeah, that's what's been happening this week, and that might have been one of the reasons why Frontier decided to say, actually, you're not getting the bonus for acquiring new systems anymore, because you're acquiring them too much anyway. So yeah, but yeah, an interesting week. Not so good for my power, unfortunately, but yeah. At least we're not falling down. But yeah.
I'm like, huh? Oh well. I like not being involved with this. It's quite nice. Like I'll do my missions if I don't have anything else to do. All right. That works for me.
Oh no, I enjoy getting invested with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I get why. I totally get why you. I totally get why you would. I genuinely do. I totally get it now more so than I did with Power Play 1, because it's so much more it's so much more heckin' interesting now. It really is. But I find it really fascinating watching them moving and watching all of those changes and all of that stuff. I'm quite happy to just like drop in and do my missions, and maybe at some point I'll get to level 100 and I'll have unlocked everything, and that's fine. But I'm in no rush to do that, and it's great. It's cool. It's cool to watch, and it's cool to see people invested. It reminds me, when I see people invested in the Power Play, it reminds me of how invested I used to be in BGS when I first started playing, and that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I never really got into for some reason. This version of Power Play has certainly clicked with me, but for some reason the previous version of Power Play clicked with me more than the BGS.
Yeah.
Don't know why. It was just one of these weird things. So yeah. Okay, so it's that time of the week again.
Store alert! In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your
Well, there is one interesting one which came up this week. A Cobra Mark III pre-built ship to get you started for combat. Yeah, it looks quite nice. It's got flappy wings, which caused a bit of debate on
Yeah.
our on our forum, on our Discord rather. But yeah, it's a Cobra Mark III
I wouldn't
with
say it was debate, it was
pre-engineered.
just Claire calling us nerds.
Yeah, you're all nerds. I'll say it again, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'll continue to say it. You're all nerds. What I will say about this is, have you actually looked and seen the stats of this thing? Actually, in game, you can
No.
have a look in the
No.
yeah. So if you land at a station and go into the pre-built section, you'll be able to see just how much engineering this motherfucker has, because almost every single module is engineered. It's not just one or two, it's every single module. It
Is
is
this thing a good little monster?
it looks passable enough. It's a great jumpstart, in my personal opinion. I think it's a great jumpstart, and it's lovely. It's lovely for a new player, great for a new player to spend arcs on, but you cannot sell this as something for a new player and then say, oh, new players on your squadron fleet carriers will be happy with just a normal ship. Bullshit. I'm mad at Frontier because of this. It's got all the engineering. By all means, go and take a look at it when you next land on a station where you can do the pre-builts, because it is fucking ridiculous, and that's why I have a problem with it. But it's a great little ship for a starter.
Yeah, it's Class 4 FSD SCO, Grade 5 thrusters upgraded, and the steampunk ship kit. Is that new for the Cobra 3?
Yeah. I like
So-
I like the paint job on it as well. That's the Osiris. Okay, so you can already get that paint job. I saw somebody complaining about something on the forum. What a surprise.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was this specifically, saying, is this the first jumpstart that's got a ship kit that you can only get with the jumpstart? Can you get this ship kit?
I don't know that you can get the ship kit separately.
I'm sure it will come out, but you can?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Arc store right now, and we've got the Python Steampunk pack and the Cobra Mark III Steampunk pack.
Okay.
But there's also a whole lot of other steampunk packs, which, when you click on them, go for page 404 not found. So I'm assuming
that's showing what's coming. Then I'm guessing that's.
Yeah, so it's I think there's been a little bit of a
Because
mistake
there was only the Mamba and the Anaconda in steampunk, wasn't there, a week ago?
So I must admit, I do like the look of the Python steampunk. It just looks bizarre. So yeah.
I like the Python. I like the steampunk packs. I think they're really good. They're really fun.
Yeah, I haven't got mine yet. I did say I was going to get one, but I haven't got it yet. Still might.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have a butcher at those. But unfortunately, I think with my funds, I think it's going to be the Panther Clipper first, rather than a steampunk skin. But yeah. So very nice stuff happening there. Although for some reason we've got stuff in the sale that we had last week, so there's an awful lot of cut price stuff for the ships. Although I must admit, Loose Screws did bring up an interesting point the other day. What is the point of the standard fighters, the standard ships now? I can still understand that the Stella, you get all the packs and that. But apart
Zero
from the
rebuy.
I was about to say, apart from the zero rebuy, is there any point?
No, that's the point with zero rebuy.
Right.
I can't think of any. I can't think of what there would be any other point. Yeah, it would have to just be the zero rebuy.
But Can I ask a question then? Because, you know, with everyone who's gotten a pack, are you not then essentially storing your pre-built modules to replace them with things what you actually own? Which
Yeah,
would
but
mean
you're still
it's no
not.
longer a zero
But
rebuy,
you're not
isn't it?
replacing the ship. So you're not replacing the ship. So the big bulk cost of the zero rebuy on the ship. I'm not. For example, if I was to take my Corsair out of where it's still sitting in its bag, if I was to take that out, even if I was to then swap out everything for engineered shit, but because I'm not going to engineer a rebuy or a shopping bag item, because if I then have to if I want to swap it out, I'm going to lose it because you can't store the pre-built items. Yeah. So I wouldn't do that. But the bulk cost of the ship that but if I was to then go and crash my Corsair into a planet, I'd only pay for the internals rather than that bulk cost of the ship. The ship will still be a
so
free
it'll still
rebuy.
be less of a rebuy, even if you replace the internals.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And also, Apathis also brings up a very good point in chat. You can only get them in the store if you've only got Horizons, like the live version Horizons. You can't purchase them from a shipyard in Odyssey, I believe.
Yeah, they did say that originally.
Right. Well, if that's the case, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with some more stuff.
Choose life, choose a ship, choose a career, choose a cargo, choose a fucking big ship, choose palladium, gold and electrical tin openers. Choose good health, low cholesterol and ship insurance, choose fixed interest loan repayments, choose a space station, choose your friends. Choose leisure wear and matching luggage, choose a paint job and hire purchase in a range of fucking colours. Choose decals, exploration, and wondering where the f*** you are on a Sunday morning. Choose sitting in that chair, running mind-numbing, spirit-crushing trade routes, stuffing f***ing junk food in your mouth. And choose rotting away at the end of it all, pissing your last in the void with no one out there to hear you, bury, or do anything as you drift away in cold space. Until some comes along to steal your ship, your cargo, and your clothes, leaving your bones floating out in space. Choose your future. Choose life. But why would I want to do a thing like that? I choose not to choose life. I chose something else. And the reasons? There are no reasons. Who needs reasons when you've got onion heads?
I was overseeing the delivery of some slaves to the starport in Exios, and a cleaning robot had just washed the floor, but not left a warning sign. I had to run after a slave that was escaping, and I slipped and fractured my wrist. I was delayed for 10 whole minutes while the Medicomp repaired the damage. My time is billable. Can I get compensation?
Yes, you can.
I was on a regular trading run back to Sol, and it was my job to repaint the outside of the ship. I was given the wrong kind of EVA clamps. Nothing bad actually happened, but it did give me a fright. Can I get compensation?
Yes, you can.
I was checking some robots through customs when I distinctly heard an official call the robots clanks. I was deeply offended, even though I'm not a robot myself. That's their word. You're not allowed to use it. Can I claim for moral outrage?
Yes, you can. At Cowell and McGrath, we are now taking any kind of legal action. No case too small, no justification too frivolous. If you've been lightly inconvenienced, embarrassed, or in any way put out, then someone should be made to give you money. Don't be a stupid clank.
Excuse me?
Cowell and McGrath, taking on any case, playing the percentages.
Sweet dreams, little ones. You rest up in your hangar bay, because in the morning you'll wake up to smell fresh laser fire, because you're in a federal Corvette. And there's one thing that a core dynamic ship does well, and that's kill ships. Big ships, small ships, rings of ships. We even have a go at booping asteroids. Enemy shields down! Enemy dead! There's no further targets, Commander! That's all you'll ever have to say in a federal Corvette. Core dynamics! Let's not talk about skimmers.
And welcome back. Just incidentally, you know, it's been a bit of a bugbear of mine that ever since the Interstellar Initiative, about 5 years ago, all Lave has ever sold is coffee and Lave and brandy.
Yeah.
Yes, you've talked about it a fair amount, Colin.
Well, all of a sudden the market's back now. It's fully agricultural. Lave is back in business, folks.
Amazing.
Yes.
Wild.
Maybe that 1 ton of agronomic enhancement actually worked.
I will
Fix
stop
everything.
doing my big shop in Shinra to Desert immediately and return my loyalty to Lave.
Get your fresh apples from Lave again. Yes. So, on that bombshell, we had a question of the week then, Claire.
We did. Hey, the Corsair's out. And what I thought would be a good fun question to ask people is, because it's now available to buy in game, have you had a chance to fly it and what do you think? And also then to the commander who is still deciding whether or not to drop the credits, how would you recommend it to them? And the fields were barren, lads. I'm not gonna lie. I think it might be kind of nice to ask you guys first before we come to the our answers that we got via Twitter, via Blue Sky, and via Discord. Me personally, I have received it via the partner program, and I got early access on the preview server to fly it. Since then, when it was on the preview, when it was off the preview server and it was back, and Frontier very, very generously put it into my you can recall this ship, they have stayed in their shopping baskets. I haven't even taken it out or engineered it or anything because I don't like it.
Yes, I remember you saying.
So that's why what I haven't done. So I can't recommend it to anyone because I personally don't think it's a very good ship. What about you, Colin?
Well, you damn well know that there's a different story for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, because I originally I was with you. I didn't like it at all. It just didn't seem to work for me in any way whatsoever until I started using it for power play, and I found it to be the perfect power play multi-role ship. It's not as good as the Python for combat. It's not as good as the Type 8 for hauling, but for genuine mission running that I want to do, or just it's a good in-betweener, and it does work well in combat, but you've got to learn how to fly it properly. So the main issue with this is it is phenomenal with flight assist off, and that is the fact that this ability in flight assist off is what really sold it to me, because it's a fun ship to fly when you switch the autopilots off. But yeah, and I see why it's not everybody's cup of tea, and of course I hate the beak. That's why I shelled out for the Stellar version so that I wouldn't have a beak. But I must admit the Garrus type paint job, I absolutely love that. And I would say to anybody who's thinking to get one, it's not a starter ship. You need to learn how to fly it, because originally I was taking it and trying to fly like the Python 2. You have to fly it differently. It's like taking a Mamba and expecting it to fly like a Fer-de-Lance. No, it's got different flight characteristics that you have to get used to, and in order to beat ships, you have to use different tactics. In other words, flight assist off.
What about you, Alec?
So
I really like its looks a lot, including the beak. I threw one of the mirrored chrome paint jobs on mine, so it looks amazing. In fact, my Windows desktop background just happens to have cycled around to it right now.
Oh wow!
Which is a nice coincidence. Yeah, so I really like the looks of it. I I also love the fact that a screenshot I took of mine just about keep using it for promotional reasons. I keep seeing my screenshot pop up on things that I like, so they obviously liked it a lot as well. What Colin was saying there about it being a good mission runner, that was exactly Slamscape X's conclusions in his review. He said it was an excellent BGS stroke mission runner. He did say that the visibility, particularly kind of downwards, is not brilliant. So it's not a great explorer. It looks good in screenshots, but you can't see your exobiology or kind of the planet surface stuff. I believe it's also got a really quite slow yaw rate. I mean, maybe that plays into what Colin's saying about it being good in FA off, but I'd sort of heard it wasn't awesome at combat because its turn rate was not quite as good as
no,
they'd.
in standard flight mode, the turn rate is
Yeah.
god awful, and that's one
Right.
of the reasons why I was initially disappointed, because I was thinking this is supposed to have the biggest thrusters on a medium ship ever. Why does it turn like a bloody turtle?
Oh, it's that ship, isn't it? It's that ship. It's the one that's got these really large thrusters, and they don't seem to make much difference.
Yeah.
And I gather again from Slamscape X's video that the cool thing about it is that you can put loads of kit on your ship, loads of modules. You can outfit your ship really well, and its top speed doesn't drop.
No.
So, which is really good, so you can fill it with stuff, and it still goes 600 meters a second. So, I don't know. I really like the look of mine. I want to use it for something. I think what I'm going to do. I'm just stuck in my Mandalay, and I need to force myself to get out of it. And what I've been doing, because I've got the Mandalay round up my colonization system, so I can nip off to other places like Claire's Buckyball Race and backwards and forwards and things like that. So I've ended up doing all my BGS stuff, including fighting in Civil War CZs in my Mandalay, and it's all right. But I suspect I'd probably have more fun in the Corsair. So I might park the Corsair at Drakir Point and then use it for my BGS work. Yeah, that sounds fun. I might do that.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I guess I'm closer to Alec than to you guys. I love the look of it, and I'm definitely Team Beak. I've mostly, though, gotten out if I want something that I think looks pretty for screenshots, or if I'm feeling contrary and there are ardent beak haters out there, then I'll just get it out and rub the beak in their noses. I have used it a little bit in combat zones and things like that, and I didn't find it particularly lacking. But then it's been so long since I've done any. I think tonight's probably about the most combat I've done in ages, apart from anti-Xeno stuff, but that doesn't really count. Yeah, I like it. It's a nice ship.
Nonplussed.
I think I'd use the Mandalay more than the Corsair. But frankly, I keep going back to things like my crate because I just like, I like my crate. I'm in my Imperial Cutter at the moment. Although I might, I'm there's a part of me that's tempted to go and make a battle Clipper, I have to admit. I feel that has to be done when they come out. That doesn't actually to say anything about the Corsair, does it?
No. In fact, it says a lot that you're more willing to talk about the the Clipper.
Yeah, other ships for sure.
So yes, I think we know where that comes from.
100%. Well, we asked the community on a Tuesday. That would not leave people enough time. On a Sunday, some point between 12 and 2 usually, when the Chris Mark IV is doing his excellent radio show on Black Diamond FM. We asked the question on Twitter, on Blue Sky, and in our Discord. So please come and join and check us out on any of those spots, and you'll be able to answer the question of the week. And we had a very few answers. Fishtails USA said, "I love my Corsair. It's probably my favorite ship now." Good for you, Fishtails USA.
Yeah, that's nice. I love that. I like that some. Yeah.
Go on, Alex. Sorry about that.
I was just going to say it's great that somebody, that somebody likes it that much. I like that every ship has its fans.
Well, I've got Chris J. Carr here, and I understand completely where he comes from. I picked up this yesterday when it went on sale for regular credits. I'm not sure what it's good for, but I am not a fan of the cockpit view. That's the problem I had with this ship to begin with, is that I was there. I don't see a place for it, and I don't understand. It's not turning the way I wanted it. It's great when you want to look up, but you can't look down. Yeah, it's a case of you've got to find its role. And
is this the one that looks a bit like a courier from the inside?
I love the cockpit view. That's my favorite thing about it. Wild.
Yeah, the cockpit's lovely.
Right, me, I guess. And AJ Wallace. I have to admit, I didn't want it to replace my crate as my multi-use go-to, but it kind of has. But I still do not like the beak. Had to get a ship kit, and also hated the cockpit view until I realised that it's just because I'm not a big fan of the courier. Okay, confirmed. So this is the one that looks like the Imperial courier, which seems weird as well, because the courier is a much smaller ship, and you're in this bigger ship, but you feel like you've still got the same view as the courier.
I find that really misleading. 100%. Like there's I love it. I love the cockpit view, but I also think it makes me believe that I'm flying the courier. So I'm flying it like I'm flying the courier, and I think that's probably a probably a reason why it feels like it doesn't fly right. Yeah, 100%.
Colin, I don't suppose. Sorry, Ben. Can I just?
No, it's okay.
Colin, have you by any chance flown the courier and the Corsair in VR?
Yeah, I've flown both in VR. Yeah.
Yeah.
The couriers. The cockpit. If you're asking about how the size feels, it does feel bigger in the Corsair.
It does. It does. So it's a scaled up version of the courier cockpit, really.
It is. Well, there is a second seat in the Corsair right behind
you.
But
okay.
So that it certainly feels bigger when you look behind. But from the front part, it feels very, very similar. But you know it's bigger if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ben.
Okay.
You can have a go now.
Nicey is still saying, I like it, but it's definitely not my favourite. Mandy, of course. It flies nicely, actually fairly good for FA off, even if I have the ship skills of a drunken mouse, and the distro that never seems to run out. Oh, and the engine pods look cool.
They do.
These are
The
all
engine
very
pods
true.
do look cool.
They do look cool.
Nice.
That is true. Nicey, thank you. Commander Schnails says the Corsair is a strange one for me. I want to like it. I love its stats, but I love the cockpit, but I hate it too. For me, it doesn't feel like it belongs on a bird this big. The cockpit plus hardpoint positions mean that it's excellent at shooting things with fixed weapons, targeting something dead ahead. If you prefer gimbaled weapons, you don't always aim dead ahead, then it's a pain. Yeah, that's what I find. Plus, with the cockpit, you're often shooting things you can't actually see. I loved my crate and thought the Corsair would replace it. It didn't. Save your credits and keep the crate, unless you desperately need the SCO for any sort of distance. I think that's a really good response. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a really interesting ship, isn't it? It's really quite Marmitey.
It's a very Marmite ship.
Yeah, I sort of like it for that.
Yeah.
Well, I have Stake Typhoon. I can't recommend it for general combat, as the Python Mark II beats it in almost every metric. Completely true. However, if you like to fly near rocks, it's fantastic. It runs fairly cool, so you can really fill up on mining lasers, and the capacity isn't bad. It drifts a little around, so it drifts so little around turns that I've never bumped into a rock with it. So, yeah, and I can understand where he's coming from, but you wouldn't have expected a ship that looks like that to be a miner.
No, it's funny. Actually, that was in the review I mentioned in the community corner. That was Slamscape X's top role for it. He said that as a strip miner, it was incredible, and I believe second only to the Type 8. It's got the largest cargo capacity of any medium ship. So it's really good and plus you can shove all the mining gear on it without reducing its top speed, which means if you're trying to run down core asteroids and get from one to the next one really quickly, then it works really well as a strip miner apparently, which is interesting. Right, last of all, we have Chebswill, who just says it looks great. Winky face. It does. There's no winky face needed. It definitely looks great. If you want to play, if you want to play with your inner Skeksis, Dark Crystal reference for the young'uns. Yeah, I see that. It's perfect.
Team Beak.
Team Beak, or not?
Not Team Beak.
No, I'm not Team Beak either. I just can't stand Team Beak. Ugh. Yeah. Okay. Right then. I don't know what's
I
up
love
this
that
night.
it's not. Yeah, so I was just going to say, I really like that it's not an out and out. Everyone hates it. The fact that some people it's their favourite ship, that's great. That's really cool.
Yeah, I do. I like
Sorry,
the
Con.
fact it's a Marmite ship.
It does make me wonder, though. It does make me wonder, though, whether that means we're not going to get any promotion from it for the Panther Clipper because it is such a Marmite ship, and because people who really didn't like it have been quite vocal about it from the offset. I'm sorry about that. It probably isn't. It may not have sold quite as well as people were expecting.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Maybe.
God, I'd love to. Excuse me.
So
I'd love to see
basically,
the
if we don't get any nice
sales
pretty
figures.
pages, it's players' fault.
Yeah, well, it's not just my fault. I know other people that didn't like
No,
it
it's
as
your
well. I know, like, I wouldn't count myself as someone who who would be influential in you making a choice on a ship. I have a very
Isn't that literally your job title as an
my guy.
influencer?
Not with buying ships in Elite. I have a very I will always add as a caveat when I have if I have a problem with a ship, I have a very specific set of things that I need a ship to be able to do, and one of those things is I want to be able to press a button and have my lasers just go and do their thing. I need them to be on a turret. I can press a button and release it because my hand will break if I do it that way. And of course, like, what people are saying resonates with me because people are recommending fixed weapons, and people have always recommended fixed weapons with this. So I don't know what to say.
I have to admit, I am seeing, just looking around this combat zone, I'm seeing humans here, other commanders, and there are a bunch of them in Corsairs.
They look like they're using fixed weapons.
I can go and have a look.
I'm genuinely
this
curious.
guy's using a pacifier, frag cannon, frag cannon, frag cannon, frag cannon. Yeah. I mean, they're complete frag cannon build, that person.
Yeah, so I think it probably makes a really good, if you're really good with fixed weapons and it doesn't like if it doesn't like really if your hands work properly, yay for you. But you know,
okay, I've got somebody here, beam laser multi-cannon, and that could be Gimbal. I don't know if there's a way to find out.
I think even with me, like Gimbal doesn't do the job that I
Yeah, you want the full turret, don't you?
Yeah, I want the full turret to keep that laser on, and it's not the way that I have everything set up, and I think like now changing it for me and going like suggesting like have the laser stay on with a different method. I'm kind of like, yeah, that's great, but watch me throw it onto 0 or something like that. Those kind of things. It's not something that I'm prepared. It's not something that I'm prepared to do. I'd rather have a ship. I'd rather pick a ship that works perfectly with those beam lasers and those kind of things, rather than wasting my money on engineering. Well, money means nothing, but wasting any of my engineering materials maybe means nothing as well. But wasting anything like that on something that I would want when I can, when I don't want. It's time. I'm time poor. Why would I bother like changing something that my my joystick does when it works perfectly with like nine other ships?
I mean, you're right.
Yeah. There you go.
you now makes me think, how could we essentially special effectify the Corsair?
It's not special effectifying it, because it's just making it accessible, making like using ships, making them accessible for my needs, and not every ship is going to be
it's not just your needs,
a win with that.
My brother-in-law would have exactly the same issues, and so it's not just you; it's a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. But then there's like a million other ships that are perfectly fine and good enough for them to use. So it feels like a non-issue a little bit. Yeah, just save your shit and do it with something else.
Right, so I reckon that everybody is 50-50 really about the Corsair. It is a ship that it seems you either love it or you hate it, and even then, if you do love it, you probably hate the beak, and if you don't like the beak, you know. So it splits the community in 4 ways. You hate it and you hate the beak. You hate it, but you like the beak. Or you love it and hate the beak. Or you love it and you love the beak. So
what about if we were indifferent towards the beak and we actually just love
I like a true neutral.
I like the cockpit. I like the cockpit, but also it makes me think that I'm flying a much smaller ship, so I also hate the cockpit. You don't see the beak when you're in the ship, so it doesn't matter. Same with the Dreamballs.
Our next week's community question: are you indifferent to the Corsair? Write in and tell us about how you're not really fussed about it one way or another.
Imagine doing a question of the week that's a yes or no answer.
I am indifferent to the entire ship, but yes,
tell us how little you are moved one way or another by the Corsair.
Well, no, people have opinions on it. They're just not all positive. That's all.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that.
No, it's very true. Right. I guess, has anybody got any other business?
Sign up for the Buckyball race that starts on Friday. It's not. We've talked about it already, but I just want to say it again. It's going to be real fun.
And the special effect thing as well.
Yeah, find people. Click on the link. Donate to anyone as long as you're giving money to special effect.
Excellent. Right, well, we'll do our shout-outs then. Our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, it broadcasts on a Thursday from 8:30. You can tune in at twitch.tv/Hutton Orbital Truckers, or if you just want the audio, go to radio.forthemug.com. For the discerning commander that likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC. We're also giving shout-outs to the other Elite Dangerous podcasts. That'll be the Guard Frequency, who do other space games as well. The wonderful Loose Screws, who absolutely hate power play conflict zones, even when they do work. And of course, and if you speak French.
Just let the funky music do the talking.
But that would be also including the Elite Dangerous podcast, who also do these wonderful missions as well. So following on from this, we have the latest Galnet News Digest as provided by the Commander Witherspoon and the Commander Beetlejude. And thanks to all those who've chipped in on the Twitch chat and the in-game commanders we've had hanging out with the Chris Mark IV have been Duck Zero, Siberius, and Ulrich Octavius. Fantastic name to get to.
Can I interrupt there for a second, Colin?
Certainly, Alec.
You've just reminded me because Duck Zero has joined us in the bar on several occasions over the last few weeks. Duck Zero is quite possibly one of the galaxy's finest SRV drivers. I will admit he's beaten me on numerous time trials now. Duck Zero, and I find this really amusing and it's really funny. And I meant to throw one in Community Corner. Has been making these little 5-second, 10-second teaser videos for the Drakia Rally, basically putting himself out for hire. So if you have a team, if you're thinking of putting a team together for the Drakia Rally and you want to hire one of the galaxy's finest SRV drivers, then contact Commander Duck Zero and find out what he'll accept in the way of bribery for his services. Splitter.
Sounds awfully like Colin's old website.
Right.
Anyway, sorry.
No problem. Special thanks also go to Commander Tokuso, Jane Trax, and Alan Stroud, who create music that's used in the show. Well, that's it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, you can find the contact links in the home/contact us menu of the laveradio.com website. Do let us know if you've got any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on Tuesday evenings at 8:30 and streamed out at laveradio.com/live. So, thanks to Claire.
Thank you.
Thanks to Alec.
Thank you, Colin. Good night, all.
Thanks to Ben.
Thank you.
And special thanks goes to today's tech specialist, the little big yin, otherwise known as Chris Mark V.
No bother.
Krevin, no bother, thanks. So until next time, Commanders, fly safe. If you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Is your life like this?
Sounds like someone having an orange inserted into them. Need a safe word. Space can be loaded. I'm going to see the galaxy.
No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Galnet News Update, 8th of July 3311. The team behind the Distant Stars, Distant Worlds, and Distant Worlds 2 expeditions is back, with the sign-up now open for their fourth event, Distant Worlds 3, complete with an AI-generated expeditionary anthem. Distant Stars was a journey of a few tens of explorers across the galaxy to the furthest stars from Sol. Distant Worlds, in 3302, 9 years ago, was rather larger, with several hundred participants, retracing the steps of Distant Stars, but with the ability to land on airless worlds and the coming of the surface reconnaissance vehicle, the Scarab, waypoints with campsites were organised. There was an impressive mass jump when the expedition left the centre of the galaxy, Sagittarius A star. Distant Worlds 2, in 3305, was a much bigger and much more ambitious expedition. This expedition had almost 14,000 participants and took a year to organise and 5 months to travel across the galaxy. This was the expedition that found many of the notable stellar phenomena, the space-based life forms found at some Lagrange points. It was also the expedition that organised the construction of Explorer's Anchorage, the starport in the next system along from Sagittarius A star. Frustration with coordinating activities with officials of the Pilots Federation, and the workload caused by shepherding so many expedition members, took its toll. The expedition ended abruptly at Beagle Point, with participants left to find their own way home. Cohen Leth, one of the organisers, stated categorically that they would never participate in another event like it. It appears that most of the organisers of Distant Worlds 2 retired soon after, and have been living quiet lives as parking attendants, tax inspectors, accountants and actuaries for the past 6 years. And now they're back. This previous generation of explorer from the days before fleet carriers, from the time before we were allowed to land on planets with thin atmospheres and before we discovered planetary exobiology, appear to have regained the drive to organise yet another huge event, comprising potentially tens of thousands of participants, many of whom will have qualified as pilots long after Distant Worlds 2 came to an end. This time, with fleet carriers, and with ships capable of jumping more than 80 light years, there'll be much less jumping and much more having fun. Yet, the purpose of the expedition is firmly scientific, aiming to study stellar density, the properties of star systems in relation to their neighbours, and to find out more about how exobiology and geological features are distributed. This voyage of discovery aims to uncover signs of how the Creator fashioned the galaxy. It's still 6 months before the expedition sets off, but sign-ups are now open for those wishing to take part. More than 800 commanders have already signed up. Distant Worlds 3 will be without doubt a huge event, likely to be remembered years after it concludes. It will be a chance for younger commanders to get to meet some of the grizzled veterans of the previous decade, and will hopefully leave the participants with fond memories of how even explorers can sometimes be sociable.